All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call to order the public meeting 189 of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission at 10 o'clock on April 28th at the Shaw's Conference Center in Brockton. There is one item on this agenda, so everybody can plan a little bit. I'm going to run quickly through the rest of the day. We have one, I think, item only for meeting 189. We'll then adjourn 189. We will then go back to public meeting 188, which was going on yesterday, but we have received a lot of final submissions in response to yesterday's meeting. We haven't all had a chance to read these letters and actually think about them, so we're going to take a 15 to 30-minute break so we have a chance to really understand what has been submitted to us pursuant to yesterday. We will then convene the final session, it's probably the final session of public meeting 188, and have the deliberating process on whether or not to make an award in Region C. And, you know, round numbers, I would guess that would start in quarter of 11 or thereabouts. Okay, there is one item on the agenda, Racing Division, Director Lightbound. The ball's in your court.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning. Good morning.
George Brown, the chairman of the Massachusetts Thoroughbred Breeders Association, has submitted a request to run 6 restricted races at Finger Lakes this spring. As you recall, last year, I believe it was around August 20th, we had a similar request in front of us for them to be able to run races at Finger Lakes last year, which they did, and it was successful as far as the breeders go. This is in response to us not having a full season of racing in thoroughbred racing in Massachusetts. The breeders do intend to save enough money so that they'll be able to do their regular stakes races at Suffolk during those 6 days that they race, and then also money to run some restricted races at the Brockton Fair also. So, and my recommendation is to approve this. It's part of the legislation too. Catherine can speak to that if you want, but they did get that changed in Chapter 128, which is the agricultural regulations.
They got what changed?
It got it changed so that they could race races outside of
Right.
Massachusetts. That was done last year.
The breeders.
And if you have any questions, Mr. Brown's here today.
Okay.
I'm going to invite him to say something if he...
Questions, or Mr. Brown, did you have anything to say at the outset?
No.
All right.
Just if you have any questions.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anybody?
Mr. Chair, I think this is a sound recommendation. I agree with it. It worked well last year, having the mass-bred horses have the opportunity to race for those funds is really an important piece for the breeders. And again, it's uncertain how many days we'll have this year in the Commonwealth, so this just is a nice plan to supplement whatever days we have here and whatever opportunities there are. So I agree with this recommendation.
Anybody else? Questions? Just, Commissioner?
Yeah, and these requests, of course, would come with supplemental monies from the Horse Race Development Fund for these races. Is that correct?
From the breeders.
For the breeders' piece, yes.
Separate
The separate,
monies.
you know,
Not the Racehorse Development Fund, but the breeder's share.
Right.
The
That
breeders
was-
share.
the breeders'
That was-
share
okay.
of the Racehorse Development
That
Fund.
was going to be my question too, thank you.
Yeah.
So it says funds have been set aside to run 10 stakes, that's out of the breeders'
Correct,
funds?
out of the
which-
breeders'
okay.
funds from that.
And how much is that, what's been set aside? Why is that not detailed here?
I'm not sure how much you have in the,
Well, we're going to run,
Could you speak into the mic, sir?
we're going to run 6 races at Finger Lakes to begin with. And that's one of the reasons for that is we have no place to get our horses fit to run before the Suffolk Downs races. So we planned on running these races at Finger Lakes to help get these horses fit. And then these races are $35,000 apiece. And then we have,
That's the purse, the total purse per race?
yes.
Okay.
And then we have 9 races, we were planning on running 9 races at Suffolk Downs for purses of $75,000 each.
Yeah.
And we were gonna try to run 1 race at Finger Lakes later on in the year for $75,000 because it's hard to get the 2-year-olds ready to run by August or September. A lot of them don't get ready that soon, so we figured we'd run that race at Finger Lakes, and that way we could put it off till November and give everybody a chance to get ready for that two-year-old race. And depending on what happens with Brockton, we would have money left over for races at Brockton, and if Brockton doesn't get ready this year, we can run the rest of them at Finger Lakes.
But this, so the 35,000 and the 75,000 purses don't come, it comes, it's supplemented by breeders' monies.
Right.
It's not the full, it's
It's
just,
not out of the,
Yeah.
it's not out of the horse development fund, it's out
Right.
of the breeders' money.
right, which is, okay.
Well, I'm sorry to make a distinction. It does come from the Racehorse Development Fund.
Right.
Which has two pots of money, one going to the thoroughbreds that race here, and, you know, another one that goes to the breeders.
And
that-
we have 16%
That's right,
Right.
of that
Of the-
money
of
from
the-
the
that's right.
horse development
Okay.
fund that goes
Yep.
to the breeders.
So would we get an actual request for those monies, or is it implicit in what Mr. Brown just said, the numbers that he articulated?
It's implicit in what he said. Once the money goes over to the breeders, it's basically up to them how they spend it. Obviously, if there was some crazy thing out there, we might have a comment on it, but basically that
there's-
16% goes to them, and they decide how they want to fund their races.
Fair enough, but my point being more basic, there's enough balance in the fund to
Yes, there will
to
be,
use
yeah,
this
and there's money going into it every week, so.
with the,
yes.
with the activity
And
of the
that's- they
slaughter.
have
Money,
that,
money from Plain, just so people know, money from Plain Ridge.
Right.
9% of the daily gross gaming revenue from Plain Ridge is going into the Racehorse Development Fund, and that continues to supplement the breeders and the thoroughbred.
And the standardbreds and so on.
Yeah, and the standardbreds as well, right. I'm fine with this, as Commissioner Cameron recommends. I just would like to, just for the heck of it, I'd like to see the arithmetic when we've got it, just out of curiosity, what's in the fund, what's being used, not for yay or nay purposes, but just for informational purposes.
You know, I've been thinking about a good report that the end of fiscal year is approaching. It could be a good occasion for us to detail the credits and debits to all those funds, as
Sure.
I know have been taking place. I do sign off on the transfers as a treasurer of the commission, but a balance of the historical year, I think is going to be a very good information to bring to the commission very soon.
Great.
And
okay.
the breeders have to do a report anyway, and turn that in.
We have an
So,
audit.
An audit that they have to do, so they could certainly make that audit available to us when that's
It
done.
just got completed.
I would also add, you know, Alex and Mr. Brown, welcome you to come back before the commission, kind of give us the updates as to how these races happened, obviously closer to the end of the year, obviously, but we'd be anxious to see what the results were and, you know, kind of get a sense from you as to their success. Mr. Chairman, I'd move the commission approve the request of the Massachusetts Thoroughbred Breeders Association to run 6 restricted mass-bred races at Finger Lakes Racecourse this spring, with funds set aside to race at least 9 stakes races at Suffolk Raceway and some restricted races at Brockton.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other business for this public meeting? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. All right, I am going to suggest, is 20 minutes enough, do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let's just have a 20-minute break, and we will get back together at 10:30 and reconvene public meeting 188.